Hello and welcome back to the VolReport Show. I'm Ryan Sylvia with VolReport.com on the Rivals Network, and I have two very special guests with me today. On the left of your screen, Ryan Stonehouse, Tennessee Titans punter. On the right of your screen, VFL Chase McGrath. We'll go through kind of some of their accolades that they listed for themselves over on the campsite. Chase McGrath, number 25 all-time scorer in college football history, number 4 in extra points made, USC record for most field goals made in a game at 5, and of course made the historic kick to beat Alabama in 2022 for Tennessee. Ryan Stonehouse, Titans punter, NFL single season record holder for punt average, 53.1 yards per punt. He was an All-Pro in 2022, three-time All-American in college, an NCAA record holder for punt average at 47.8. So two guys who have been there, done that in terms of special teams, and they're bringing a camp over to Nashville on June 15th for 10 and up is the age range. Should be a good time. It'll be over at Lipscomb Academy in Nashville, a one-day camp. There's going to be some competition, on-field instruction, and a meet and greet. But what I want to ask you guys first is, I feel like a very unique thing about your guys' camp is the film breakdown, the NFL and college game film study, the recruiting seminar with the Q&A and all of that. You see these camps that focus on the field stuff, but a lot of these off-the-field things, how beneficial do you think that will be?
Yeah, well, I think first of all, I think the recruiting thing is going to be fantastic. Chase and I have been through our own each individual experiences, whether that's getting a scholarship, whether that's walking on, going to a school out of state. I could talk forever about our experiences, but I think that what makes our camp a little bit different with that kind of stuff is that we kind of get to offer that perspective and have like an open conversation about the pressures, what it means to be able to go to a camp, what camp should you go to compete at? Is there some camps that maybe you should avoid? I think that's one thing is like a lot of times parents get caught up in sending their kid to maybe too many of these college camps. And there's nothing wrong with going and trying to find all these schools, but if you could narrow it down to, let's just say 4 schools that you're really interested in going to. One of the things I love is that there's a quote that I love. Jamie Cole, who runs Cole's Kicking, has always said this, and it's stuck with me forever: is if you're good enough, long enough, someone's going to find you. And I can't say that enough of it through my recruiting journey. Is like, I was just trying to be good enough, long enough, and I wound up at Colorado State, and it helped me so much. But I think that that's what our camp can offer is that perspective for parents, and kind of manage some of these campers like expectations on recruiting and what realistic avenues they have. Maybe they don't go D1. Maybe they go JUCO and then D1. There's just so many different routes to so many different things, and I think that's a great part of the camp.
Yeah, just really in terms of the whole recruiting thing, we really wanted to hit on that. Just like Stonehouse said, like I walked on to USC, so I had the walk on to scholarship experience. Stonehouse came out of high school as a scholarship guy. We have that angle. And in terms of injuries, I got injured in college and ended up having to transfer. What are things to look forward to down the road? Also, things like how to look at a roster. There's a lot of times where a lot of schools may not be taking a kicker or a punter in that class, and knowing how to understand how to size it up and what schools to go after and make sure you attend those camps and how to navigate the whole recruiting process. I feel like we have a unique perspective and went through it ourselves, and 90% of experiences you as a kicker or punter who want to make that next level will eventually go through. Me and Stonehouse have experienced most of that.
No doubt. Your other question about like the breakdown of the film study, I think having a perspective from both a kicker like Chase and a punter like me, like I think you get both of those things, whether you're in high school. A lot of high school kids are undecided on what they want to specialize in going to college. A lot of them do both. And I think having that perspective of like breaking down each of the kids' films individually for them, showing them, hey, this is what we look for. And it's probably very similar to what a college coach would look for. I think that's a value that we bring to that, being able to say, hey, this is what comes from being in the NFL. This is what guys look for. This is what we want to try to emulate. Here's some role models to look at. And like I said, I think you can kind of learn a lot from that, just having different perspectives from different people. I always tell kids, like, take it with a grain of salt. You don't got to take all of our, advice and say, oh, I got to mimic Ryan's game or Chase's game. But if you could take one thing from what I said and apply it to your game, you're probably going to be better off in the long run. And that's what I would do with a lot of guys. I emulated my game with Marquette King. And when he was in the league, I was in high school. And did I take everything from Marquette? No, but I did take certain things and I tried to replicate it. And I always tell people, like, I think that helped me in the long run. No, I think there's just so much, you know, like when you look at film, you have a lot of times where the coaches will maybe get too like boxy with players. What I mean by that is like they'll try to fit a player in a box. I mean, you see that all over the place. You see it in the NFL draft, you see it everywhere. But like if you can eliminate like putting each player in a box and like identify their film individually, which is what we want to accomplish with this camp, like I think you can go a lot further.
Film aspect, one thing that me and Stonehouse really wanted to focus on when we were looking at camps, and we felt like where we could differentiate our camp and our offering to really try to help as many kids as we can was the film aspect. Not only what Stonehouse was talking about, reviewing high-level athletes and kickers and punters and what they look like in their film and certain technical aspects that they may be using that help them achieve their success. But also we really want to review the kids' film and try to critique their film, because a lot of camps you go to for kicking and punting, not too many of them will sit down with you and review your film. And me and Stonehouse really wanted to focus on that. And every single camper that comes, we'll sit down with them, and me and Stonehouse will break down their film and get it back to them and critique them on points where we think they can improve and use our eyes of what we have seen over our combined 20-something years of kicking and punting together. So just trying to help coach these kids on a very technical aspect as well.
What about on the field? What are you guys looking forward to in terms of getting out on the grass and helping these kids out?
One of the things I think that we're really looking forward to is that individualized aspect of the camp that Chase and I can really like focus on guys. What's one thing they want to work on, or two things they want to work on? Okay, perfect. You know, we're going to make a note of that. All right, we're going to look for that, right? It's just their drop for punting, or they want to work on their leg speed for kicking. Whatever they want to work on, that's what we really want. You know, I think a lot of people do these camps and they think, okay, we're going to have a bunch of kids come out and they're all going to get together and we're going to teach them a couple of basic fundamentals. We're going to send them to lunch. They're going to come back. I think what Chase and I really want to get the point across about this camp is it's supposed to be individualized. And we want to work with every kid on an individual basis. And as much as we can hit on those kind of like specific points that they want, we want to do.
In terms of the on-field aspects we're trying to hit, obviously, like Stonehouse said, we're going to be very individualized with all the kids coming to the camp. I mean, it's for ages 10 and up. We're trying to help kids from junior high all the way up through high school. Maybe a few JUCO guys even might be coming. So, I mean, we're going to be individualized, and obviously we're going to tell the things we've learned throughout our careers that are kind of more broad and things we strongly recommend. But we're going to go through each and every kid at the camp and analyze their kicking and punting live and kind of talk with them and hear what they may be feeling and they may be wanting to work on, and also look with our eyes and critique and say, you know what, in terms of your drop, like Stone was saying, maybe this needs to change, or in terms of your contact on field goal, we're seeing this, and try to help them live on the field as well. And I feel like with live instruction and technical adjustments, I feel like that's very helpful. And for me, when I was learning, was always impactful for me as a kicker.
Yeah. So you guys, high school teammates over at Mater Day, both class of 2017. Yep. What was that like playing together, and just how cool is it now that across the country, you're over in Nashville and you're finally able to reconvene, host this camp together?
Yeah, I'll go for it. I mean, it was crazy because I think Chase and I came in together. We both kicked. I think Chase kicked a lot longer than you started kicking before I did. And we just really didn't know what our relationship was going to be. And by the time we were juniors, Chase was on varsity kicking. I was still on JV kicking. But we had kind of created a relationship. And by the time we were both seniors, I was punting on varsity, Chase was kicking, and we kind of played off that dynamic. I think we knew really what we both wanted to specialize in at that point, going into college. And it helped both of us out because I think we both made each other better. We were best friends on the field and off. And, obviously Chase came to Tennessee, and I was thinking to myself, oh, Tennessee's a great spot for him to go. He went USC, and now he was at Tennessee, and I had no thought like I would ever end up in Nashville. And by the grace of God, look, we ended up in the same state. I mean, how cool is that? So it's pretty remarkable, honestly. But yeah.
Yeah. No, I always tell people, Stonehouse, my claim to fame is I beat out a starting NFL punter my freshman year of high school. So yeah, just going back to high school.
He did do that.
Yeah. But it was funny. I come back my sophomore year because I started kicking in 6th grade. And Stonehouse, you really picked it up around your freshman year.
Like freshman year, yeah.
You were a baseball guy. You started to kind of get serious about it around freshman year, a little bit after freshman year. And you came back sophomore year, and you were booming it. And then at that point, I realized, okay, I'm probably just going to kick. Stonehouse will now punt. And we became the best of friends and really use that competition. And it helped me learn how to handle competition. It was really helpful once I got to college to be able to compete with a guy and push each other to become better specialists. And that's what we really learned at a young age and helped us, go to camps and succeed on the field too in high school, and allowed us to both end up starting as freshmen in college. And years down the road, we talked about it going back to high school. We always wanted to camp. Never could we ever imagine we would have somehow both ended up in the state of Tennessee and been able to do camps in Tennessee. So this is going to be our first annual one. Yeah, so this will be our first annual one, and we've been talking about it for a while, really trying to give back and help kids. So we're excited for it.
Yeah, Ryan, what's it been like living in Tennessee? You mentioned you haven't, or you maybe didn't necessarily think that this would be where you ended up, but a lot of Vol fans over in the middle of the state. So what's it been like living in the Nashville area?
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. I've come to love Nashville. It's my home. I think that at first it's so big, right? There's a lot of things happening in Nashville. It's fast paced, and like Chase will tell you, that's what LA is like. It's really fast paced, and I just kind of felt like, oh, this is very similar in some ways to back in California, and I love it. The people that I've met are amazing. Everyone's here to help you out, and just the connections that I've just made in the last 2 years here have been invaluable, and I'm lucky to be able to call Tennessee home. And it's really cool. And then the perk, obviously having one of your best friends who played in the same state, and Chase still comes back here to speaking engagements and stuff. I mean, it's funny. And like I said, it's still fitting that we're running this camp here in Tennessee.
Yeah, Chase, what was your time like at Tennessee? 2 years in college, but as Ryan said, you're able to make trips back, and now hosting this camp. What do those 2 years mean to you?
Oh, those 2 years were some of the best 2 years of my life. If I always say this, if I was like the number one quarterback 5-star recruit, I am going to go choose to play in Knoxville, Tennessee. It was the coolest college town, Neyland Stadium. It is unreal. There is unlike anything like it. We're still trying to get Stonehouse to come down to a game in Neyland Stadium. Hopefully it's
we need that
schedule yet. But we need to figure that out.
There was a slight bit of tampering when I was in college with Chase, and he was trying to pull me. He's trying to pull me there for the last couple of years.
Come transfer, come baby. But it was a great time. Tennessee is it's a second home to me now. I could definitely see it at some point, maybe later in life, being my home. But for the time being, I'm in Southern California. But Tennessee has a special place in my heart. I'm very thankful for my time there.
Now, Ryan, obviously one of Chase's many career highlights was that kick against Alabama. What were you up to at that time? Were you in a game, able to watch it at home or anything like that?
No,
what was that like for you?
You're going to laugh. I was actually on a plane. I think we were playing. But I was on the plane because that Saturday we had left. And when I landed, my whole phone was like torched with Twitter notifications and messages. And I got to rewatch everything. Dude, I was so blown away. Like, it was amazing. Well, and I wasn't shocked at all because he had done it at USC against Texas. I mean, he's probably the only kicker in college to kick 2 game-winning field goals for 2 different teams against, like, their biggest rival at the time. I mean, it's amazing. Like, I always tell him this: he gets recognized more in Nashville than I do. He's not going to say it right now, but he does. He really does. He does. He does. But no, it was amazing. I mean, people still talk about it with me. I mean, it's amazing. It's like a cult following.
Yeah. Chase, what was that like for you? Obviously, one of my favorite stories from it was the family that named their kid Chase after the kick. So what's that like, and the ripple effect for you from that moment?
Good, little Heidi Chase. They call her High C. Actually, my girlfriend keeps in touch with them very frequently, and I actually yesterday had some update pictures on little Heidi Chase. She's a very cute, growing young little girl. That is the most surreal moment of my life, that I have a child named after me before I've even had kids, which is crazy. But I mean, that's just a testament to Vol Nation and the fan base in Tennessee. How much passion that I experienced playing there for 2 years was the coolest thing. And even a few years after, I mean, I hit that field goal in 2022. I have opportunities to, go back and speak in Nashville, Knoxville, even Memphis sometimes. So it's always so fun to go back. And that night was just unreal. I'll never forget it. Funny enough, we were talking about Velas earlier, who shares a birthday with Stonehouse right here. Happy belated birthday 2 days ago.
Yeah, thanks. But we do share a birthday.
Yeah. But he was at that game, and it was fun to have him there. Although he wasn't playing for the team at that time, he was in the league, and I just get like carried around, crowd surf, goalposts are coming down. I get like dropped down. I see Velas on the field right next to me. It was just crazy night, and one I'll never forget.
Yeah, in those moments, I feel like special teams is one of the positions, whether it's punting or kicking, that all eyes are on you, big pressure moments. Is there maybe tips, I guess, that you can give to young kickers and punters about dealing with these situations?
Yeah, I think putting yourself like in the camp competitions, I think camp competitions are fantastic because it's not about who wins. It's about you experiencing the competition, what it feels like to compete, seeing someone that's better than you, right? If you've seen someone that's better than you, you have a bar to shoot for. I want to be this guy. I want to win the camp next year. I want to do whatever that goal you set is. The competition brings that out. And I think the best advice you could give to a camper or a kid that goes through this is just to be observant of your peers. Watch what your peers do. Do they have a routine before they go warm up, before they go compete? Are they doing something with their hands or their feet? And you see guys in the league and high level college kickers and punters, and you're gonna ask them, hey, what's the secret to staying calm under pressure or whatever? And they're gonna always say it's my routine. I just fall back on my routine. And you learn that going through camps because you learn routines from other people, right? You maybe can create a routine, but a lot of people will emulate other people's routines or pull different, things from other guys they watch. I mean, I pulled mine from Marquette, and I learn every day from guys in the league like Morgan Cox, former Vol. I mean, there's just a lot of guys that I think can offer that. And at a camp, when you're around all your peers and you're all competing, you all want to win, that's when you learn those, in my opinion.
Yeah, I absolutely think you can learn the art of being able to handle pressure. Everybody feels pressure, but at a certain point, you start to get used to it. Like if we go back to when me and Stonehouse were in high school and we were competing against each other as freshmen, we were very nervous. But at this point in time now, with Stonehouse in the NFL, by the time I was playing in college, you feel the pressure, but you get used to that. But we only got used to that through tons of opportunities at camps, competing at practices, competing in games. You get used to that. And there are certain coaching points that I always felt helped me handle pressure. Just like little things. Like one thing I always have in my mind to be able to handle pressure was control. You can control. I know in a game, I was not worried about the snap or the hold. I just had faith and trust after those hours of repetition with those guys that they were going to get the job done and focus what I could control on, which was how I was going to make contact on my kick and hopefully get it through the upright. So little things like that, I feel we can pass along to kids and hopefully help them get used to handling pressure. And that's why we are going to have a competition, a fun competition at the end to put them in pressure scenarios and have to kick amongst their peers. and see who comes out on top. And it'll be fun to watch you guys do that. And for me, that is my favorite part about being a specialist is the pressure you get put into. Those were the fun moments for me. So when kids are able to make that transition from being scared when you're first going through it, then you grow to love it. And those are the moments you really want to be put in. So
Ryan, you'll find this hilarious. Our senior year, we went to I guess it was low. It was a California showcase for Cole's kicking. The final two in the punt competition are the two guys you're talking to today. Chase decided he wanted to be a punter for the day, and there was not very many people that were very good there, but Chase beat them all out to get right behind me in the competition.
Not too many people know. People know you can kick, Stonehouse, because you actually did some kickoffs out the back of the end zone last year.
That's true.
Not too many people know I actually used to be a decent punter. If it wasn't for this guy on the other side of the screen, maybe I would have punted in high school. In all honesty, I mean, but yeah, there was funny things back then. There were a few camps there. We ended up being the top two. How about that?
I know.
From the same high school.
Get some cross training in over at the camp on June 15th.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but that's what competition does. I mean, that's why Chase and I are where we were. I mean, like, we got to compete against each other in practice all the time. So
all the time. And I'm still coaching. I'm helping out the kids at Mater Dei. I'm going to be heading over to practice after this. But I mean, I tell them stories about how me and Stonehouse back in the day there's this net we have in the corner of our practice facility. We were always trying to see who could punt over it and just random things like that every day competing. And we would have fun with it.
Real.
And those moments really help push us to get better.
Well, if if you're watching this and you're a young kicker or punter, or you know a young kicker or punter and you want to have or take advantage of this really rare opportunity that Ryan and Chase are putting forward, you can find more information at Stonehouse-McGrath-kicking.com. Their social media links are on the screen as well. They have information there. But I really do urge you, if you're a Tennessee fan living in Tennessee, it's a short drive right there in the middle of the state from anywhere you are living to get this opportunity. Or if you're just in the South or in the U.S. in general, it's going to be worth the trip. June 15th, once again, is the date in Nashville, ages 10 up. Really cool situation. Ryan, Chase, thank you again for joining me. This was awesome. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate you, Ryan.
We appreciate